Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBD founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon Guru Vrinda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrajbhumi Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapan Avdi Dham ki jai. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrunda Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution ki jai. Yoga Dharma Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Hare Krishna Dham Houston ki jai. The Divine Lordship C.C. Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Gaur Chandra ki jai. The Divine Lordship C.C. Radha Giridhari ji ki jai. The Divine Lordship C.C. Giri Govardhan ki jai. The Divine Lordship and Most Merciful C.C. Radha Nila Madhava ki jai. C.C. Radha Nila Madhava Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. You want to say something?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Sunday Feast program. Thank you all for coming. Today we'll be hearing from His Holiness Rtadhvaja Swami, and he's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and someone who we're honored to have on a regular basis visit us. So please give a warm welcome to His Holiness Rtadhvaja Swami.
Long day. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Hare Krishna Dham. Is that what we call it? Hare Krishna Dham. Yeah. Thank you for coming and skipping the Super Bowl. Somebody just texted me on the way, maybe a small crowd tonight because of Super Bowl. Anyway, I won't make any comments derogatory about anything. You know. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Yamunatiro vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivara Dari Yashoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Yamunatiro vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privajakacharya Astatara Satashi Shiman His Divine Grace Sudesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon's BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ramse Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Maya Purnavadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Yagna Ki Jai. Janatai Gaur Premanandi. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. That is heavy. Is there anyone here for the first time tonight? Thank you for coming. How did you find us? Oh, your neighbor. Thank you. Thank you, neighbor. Anyone else here for the first time? Okay, thank you. How did you find out? Can somebody say what she said? Oh, a friend. You have good friends. Nice. Anybody else here for the first time? For the first time guests, please feel welcome. Please feel welcome. We're happy to have you here. I think I have an idea. I hope I have an idea. Oh, it's longer than I thought. Anyway. So on Sundays we read from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is from the 4th chapter of the Gita, and it's verse 31. The 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. I picked this verse because it's only 2 sentences in the Sanskrit. Makes it easy for me. Nayam loka shasya gyasya kuta na kurusattama. Translation. O best of the Kuru dynasty. Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So without happiness, what happens? If you don't perform sacrifice, what is the result? No happiness. Thank you, George. George, is that correct? Yeah. On this planet or where else? The next life. Not this life nor the next life. Sacrifice must be performed. Purport. Commentary, purport? In America, do we use purport? I don't remember that. Never heard that word until I joined the Hare Krishna movement. Commentary. Whatever form of material existence one is inevitably ignorant of his real situation. Should I repeat that? Whatever form of material existence one is invariably ignorant of his real situation. This is the nature of this world. The nature of this world is that we are, it's described here, whatever form of material existence we're in the material world, we don't recognize our spiritual self, distinct and separate from this material body. Beyond this body, there is a soul, which is separate and distinct from the material body. And this is transcendental knowledge. This is not ignorance. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions of our sinful lives. So what is the cause of our material existence? Anybody remember? I just read it. What is the cause of our situation in the material world? Sinful reactions. Sinful reactions. So whatever we're experiencing, we cannot blame it on anyone else but ourselves. A lot of times we like to transfer the responsibility onto another or something other. Not even some other, but something other sometimes. But the responsibility resides within us. Because whatever we're experiencing in the material world is due to multiple reactions. Not just one action, but multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Practically speaking, in this world, you cannot avoid sin. That is the nature of the world. You cannot avoid sin. So what do? We have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and follow the instructions so that we can free ourselves from our karma. Those actions, karma meaning action. I said this before, the word karma comes from the root Sanskrit word kriyate, which means to do or to act. So every one of us is acting in so many ways. Some of the actions take us down into the lower species of life. Some of those actions keep us on this human form of life. Some of them elevate us to, like, say, demigod form of life, which manage the universal affairs. And there are activities that can free us from the clutches of karma, or the clutches of the reactions to our activities. The Bhagavad Gita has 5 topics. One topic, number 1, is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Number 2, the individual soul. Number 3, material energy, prakriti, material energy, this material energy. Number 4, time. And number 5, karma. These 5 activities, these 5 subject matters are there in the Gita. Of these 5, 4 are eternal. The Supreme Lord, the individual soul. Material nature is eternal, although it is bhyakta abhyakta, manifested and unmanifested, and then manifested and unmanifested repeatedly, but it's eternally going through this cycle. Time is always there, but yet karma, the reactions to our actions can be stopped. If we cease acting in sinful ways to the best of our ability, by learning the rules and regulations that are given to us in the user manual for the material world, I call it. The user manual, just like one of the young men gave me a phone a couple years ago, and it had a manual about the size of this Bhagavad Gita just to use the phone. What to speak of the manual and how to figure out how to undo all the actions that we performed that were sinful to not get the reactions to those actions. It's amazing that it's within this simple Bhagavad Gita. I had a friend, well, he's still my friend, I hope, and his father was a scientist. This is back in the mid-'70s, and he went to visit his father. And his father, he's all shaved up and in a saffron dhoti, saffron clothes, which is quite unusual for American parents to experience, right? I mean, what to speak, Indian parents get a little, anyway, won't go there. And so he handed his father the Bhagavad Gita, and he says, this answers all the problems of the world. And his father said, there's so many problems in this world, that one book couldn't possibly cover them all. There's so much difficulty in this material world. In the 2nd chapter of the Gita, when Arjuna surrenders unto Krishna, Kapanya dosha. When Arjuna surrenders unto Krishna, in that commentary, he says, I've lost all composure due to miserly weakness. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't even know who I am. I don't know what's going on. What am I supposed to do? Now I'm your shishya. Now I'm your disciple. Tell me what to do. In the commentary, Srila Prabhupada explains that there are perplexities at every step of life. Every step of life, there are perplexities. We don't know what to do. First of all, we don't know who we are. So how can we possibly know what to do? I mean, if you don't know who you are, or you misidentify yourself as something that you're not, then how is it possible to do the right thing? So in other words, as Srila Prabhupada is saying here, existence in the material world is due to multiple reactions to our sinful lives. So again, I'll just reiterate the point, and that is we're responsible for our situation. Own it and grow from it. I was just explaining today, I had a little luncheon engagement And I've used this analogy here in this esteemed assembly of Vaishnavas, to just like they have AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, Narcotics Anonymous. We have here, anybody remember what I say? Grubati remembers, what is it? SGA, yeah, Sense Gratifiers Anonymous. I like that one. That one I own. I don't know where I got it. I can't put a little, like, what do they think, copyright thing on the bottom of the page, right? What do they call it? Credits due. Somehow or another, that one popped in. And so the first step of the 12-step system is acceptance. We have to accept our own, we have to own that which we have created. In other words, if you abuse alcohol, you'll become addicted to alcohol. You abuse drugs, you become addicted. Whatever we abuse, whatever we touch in this material world, we have a tendency to become contaminated by it, and that contamination is in the form of, what would you say, addicted to sense gratification in this world. So the first thing is for us to admit, yes, and we go before the deities, my dear Shishi Radha Nila Madhava, hi, my name is Rtadhvaja Swami, I'm an addict. That feels good. Step one. We'll work on step 2 later. So, due to multiple reactions of our sinful lives, ignorance is the cause of sinful life. So what's the cause of sinful life? Ignorance is the cause of sinful life. And what is our material reality right now, our material existence right now, is due to multiple reactions to our sinful activities, which are caused by what? Ignorance. And sinful life is the cause of dragging on in material existence. Anybody like it here? I mean, even if you like, there's a few things we can get along with. Confirmed. I'm sorry. I just offended somebody that left their phone on. Dragging on in the material existence. Does anybody here feel like you're dragging on in material existence right now? I mean, I feel like I'm dragging on. Even the word dragging on, right? You can drag on that word, right? Just like words have power. Anybody ever notice, there's a thing called nominative determination. We were discussing it with the young kids today. And did anybody hear the class this morning? Raise your hand if you heard this morning's class. Wasn't that wonderful? And Anjay gave this wonderful class. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it this morning, you can YouTube. And so the boys and girls, they came up to see me afterwards. And we were talking. I was telling them about this. Just like if you give your kid the name like Faith, that happens, Faith. That person tends to have a nature of someone like Faith. You name your kid Max, right? The guy walks around. So it's called nominative determination. That name which you give something determines what that thing will become like. It's very interesting. And so when to understand the potential of the holy name of the Lord, it's essential to know that this nominative determination is there. In other words, what we become will be determined by that which we say. And if we repetitively chant the holy names of the Lord, then that determined result will be that our hearts become purified. And we'll become that purified soul by that chanting of the holy name. Now, here, you want the good news? We've had the bad news so far, right? We're all in ignorance. We're getting spanked spanked. We're getting punished for our sinful reactions. It's due to ignorance. Now here it is. You ready? Someone say Hare Krishna. Okay. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. Somebody say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What is the only loophole to get out of this entanglement? Human form of life. Any humans in here? Now we have to get into the discussion point, huh? What does it mean to be a human being? I learned that from Burjan. I can't take credit for that. SGA I can take credit for. Human form of life is established when one agrees to follow the principles established in Scripture. And Scripture, Dharman tu Shakshat, it is emanating from the Supreme Lord. It is not something concocted by a defective human being. Human beings have 4 defects. Raise your hand if you know one. Yes. One.
You don't have proper senses.
Imperfect senses. Somebody else raise your hand. Yes. Bound to make mistakes. Oh, he took yours, right? What's the third one? Imperfect senses, bound to make mistakes. Hey, over here, right there. He's speaking. Tendency to be illusion. And the fourth one? Yes? Cheating. So we tend to be an illusion, we make mistakes, we have imperfect senses, and we cheat. Well, even the word cheat, isn't that a powerful, the nominative determination of that word? Whew. Right? So we have these defects. So no ordinary human being can produce spiritual literature. This literature, the scriptures they emanate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they're freed of the 4 defects. The Supreme Lord is not an illusion. He doesn't make mistakes. That's how he got to be God. He doesn't cheat, and his senses are perfect. Just like we cannot see what's going on behind that wall, but Krishna knows what's going on behind that wall. If you want to know, just ask him. He's up there. So we have to understand that this human form of life is the only loophole. Any lawyers in the audience? Any legal people in the audience? Well, one right here. Thank you. We have one lawyer here. Lawyers are always looking for a loophole, right? They got to get the guy out. I remember one time I went to jail for Krishna. Yeah, now they want to know. They put criminals on the seat here, right? In Florida, they put them on a seat, I'll tell you that. It's called the electric seat. But I went to jail for, anyway, being a Hare Krishna. And when I went to jail, all the other prisoners said, "What'd you do?" I said, "I didn't do anything. I'm not guilty." He said, "Neither were we. We're not either." It was like the incarceration of all the innocent people in the neighborhood. It was a mass misidentification, right? So the human form of life is the only loophole to escape from the entanglement of this material existence. Entanglement is a nice word too, isn't it? When you say the word entangled, do you feel it? You feel like you're stuck inside that word. Huh? I feel like I'm stuck in. You feel it? I don't know. I feel like entanglement of the material energy. In other words, we're bound up. The Vedas, therefore, give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The Vedas give us a chance to escape. Now, if you try to escape something, say for example you try to escape the law. We have a lawyer in the audience here. We try to escape the law. Or you try to escape doing something that you're supposed to do. Will people think that you're a good person? No. So we're in the material world. People will say, "Oh, you Hare Krishnas you're just trying to escape. You're just trying to take the easy way out." But if the house is on fire and you try to get out, is that a good type of escape? The house is on fire. You run out and someone says, "Dude, you're just trying to escape, man." That's how they talk nowadays. Just trying to be proactive, right? So escaping from the material existence is an intelligent idea. But the escape isn't by a trick. It isn't by being crooked. It's by taking shelter of the Vedas. Now, what are the Vedas? The word Veda means knowledge. Now, what is the cause of our sinful life? Remember that? Ignorance, right? Ignorance is the cause of our material life. Knowledge, therefore, is the cause of our removing ourselves from material life. And the Vedas give us this to escape. And it gives us 4 paths. I won't make you remember them. Religion is the first, and dharma. Economic comfort, artha. Regulated sense gratification, dharma, artha. Kama, and moksha, liberation. These 4 things are given in the Vedas. How we can connect all these things together, because in this material world, we have different swadharmas. Swadharma means occupational duties. In the material world, we have two swadharmas, our material occupational duties and our spiritual occupational duties. When one is fortunate, they are blended completely together. Most of the time, we have to, what do they call that? Dovetail them together and stuff like that. And so when we perform our regulated duties in conjunction to serving the Supreme Lord, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you can't be a crook, you can't be a thief, you can't be a gangster, you can't be these things for Krishna. You have to be at least a civilized human being. Not that there's anything against gangsters. I don't want to get like 100 texts on the temple website. Why is that Swami talking bad about gangsters? We're also people. But you have to have some type of regulated life. Regulated life means sinless life, a sinless life. The path of religion, or different kinds of sacrifices recommended above, automatically solve our economic problems. Anybody here ever experience an economic problem? Huh? This is it's like on the top 10, right? It was like on Billboard's top 10 or something like that. Everyone has economic problems. But now how is it that the path of religion, or different kinds of sacrifices that one performs for the Supreme Lord, automatically solves our economic problems? How is it? Because the example is given in the Bhagavatam, that if you pour water on the root of the tree, all the leaves and branches become nourished. You put food in the stomach, the whole body becomes nourished. So if you serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our whole material structure, our whole material existence becomes nourished by the activities of Krishna consciousness. Now, what are those activities? By performance of yajna, sacrifice. Yajna means sacrifice. We can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population. Now, this will be challenging to those people who think that there's an overburden of population in the world and therefore people are starving. There's plenty of food to go around. It's just not being distributed properly. That's a whole political discussion we can have, or social discussion we can have one day. When the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. In other words, when you're feeling your bodily strength, you automatically want to experience some sensual pleasure. The Vedas therefore prescribe sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. I grew up in I can't remember all the names we had for our generation, product of the 60s, right? And so one of the mantras was, sex is natural. The dogs are doing it out in the street. The hogs are doing, sex is natural. But if you take a look and do the study, we're not dogs, we're not hogs, we're not camels, I'm going through the whole Bhagavatam list now. Hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. That's actually the first Bhagavatam class I ever heard in my life. Men who are like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. By the end of the class, I realized I was all 4. Sorry about that. So the Vedic scriptures prescribe, that was a hard one. Vedic scriptures prescribe marriage. If sex is natural, what is the natural result of sexual intercourse? Children, thank you. If you do any kind of sociological or psychological study, the best thing for a child is to have both a father and mother present in the life. And therefore, marriage is also a natural act. And so if you want to have actual natural sexual life, then get married, have one wife or one husband, and produce children that can become God conscious and have a value for society, rather than just breeding like the cats and dogs. This is kind of a heavy part of the Bhagavad Gita class tonight, so it's like the birds and bees part, huh? Now why? Thereby one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage. Therefore, one is gradually released. In other words, you don't have to just slam on the brakes and all of a sudden move to the top of the Himalayas and be some kind of monk up there oming out, right? That's not what it's saying. What it's saying is that you can, thereby one is gradually elevated through this process of yajna. Vivaha, how do you say the marriage? Vivaha? Vivaha. The Vivaha yajna is there. And this is one of the regulated activities for human life. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport where acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up at any point in life, no matter what stage of life is in. If one is a student life, or married life, or retired life, or renounced life, these things are meant to go on. Charity, penance, acts of sacrifice, these things are meant to go on. And in the commentary, Srila Prabhupada writes, when we say Srila Prabhupada, for those who are new, it's the person in the back of the room sitting up there, nice and he's the founder Acharya of our society, founding teacher by example of our society. And he said that one who is in the renounced order of life should not hesitate to encourage a young man to marry or a young woman to marry, because that is one of the necessities of life. Regulated sense gratification, not unregulated sense gratification. Unregulated sense gratification only leads one down into a forced type of regulated sense gratification, and that is the lower species of life. There's a nice verse, Tasmat tvam indrayan yardau niyam ya bharatar shibaha. Therefore, in the very beginning, O Arjun, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So in order to control the senses, we have to niyama. Yama, niyama, asana, dhyana, come to the point of samadhi, where one is in full absorption of the Supreme Lord. And so if we do not regulate our senses willingly, under the regulations that are given in the scriptures, which are there to free us from the material entanglement. I'm just going through the words, isn't it nice? Just going through the words. To free us from the entanglement of the material world, then we will have to visit someone known as Yama Raj. Someone's chuckling. Someone figured it out. Yama means control. Raja means king. The king of controllers, the king of regulator. Yama means to control or regulate. Yamaraj is the person that one goes to who is sinful at the end of life. And he decides what type of body you're going to get for your previous sinful reactions, for your previous sinful actions. What type of reaction does this person get? If he's lived an unregulated life, he'll put him in a type of life where there's a specific type of regulation that's given. Animals, they have a season. Plants have a season. Insects have a season. If we want to go out of season, okay, guess where we're going? Okay, sorry. No, I'm not. Thereby one is gradually elevated to the platform, release material bonding, and the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by performance of sacrifice as described above. So how do we associate with the Supreme Lord? Here we are, what do you call it, entombed or incarcerated within this material body. We are now functioning on the material level. So how do we associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is the process? In different ages, there are different processes for understanding and communicating are communing with the Supreme Lord. Now we're in the winter season. In the spring season, people will live for 100,000 years. Believe it or not? It's stated in the scriptures. People would live for 100,000 years. They would sit in silent meditation for 60,000 years at a time. The atmosphere was so clear. The atmosphere was so pristine, without disturbance. Imagine, can anybody here even sit for 60 seconds? You know, I sit in my room and I sit with my hand in the bead bag and I'm determined to get my rounds done. It takes about 2 hours. You don't know how many times, I don't, if I had a clicker that had 4 digits on it, I'd have to go through it twice, at least, maybe 3 times, to count the number of times I want to get up and not sit there and chant. The mind is always rattling. Do this, do this, do this, do this. So imagine just sitting in complete contentment, focused on the Lord in the heart for 60,000 years. The next age, the summer, it is great sacrifices, which takes a huge amount of effort and concentration. The next one is elaborate deity worship, where every mantra has to be uttered perfectly. That's the fall age. Now we come to the winter. I was just saying, I think I said this on Friday. I was just with Keshava Bharti Maharaj taking, His Holiness Keshava Bharti Maharaj taking lunch, and I looked outside and it was winter in Houston. And there's no leaves on the trees. It's all dark and gloomy and gray. Of course, we had a couple of sunny days. Last 2 days were sunny. I was looking out. Here's the winter season. Cold, dark, lonely, no life. And so that's the age that we're in right now. And so the way to associate with the Supreme Lord, which is what we want to do, the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. And therefore, Namakarti Bahuja Nija Sarvashanti, that we have unlimited names of God by which we can associate. And Sarvashakti, all God's potencies are present within His name. And all we have to do is utter the name and we're in the presence of the Lord. All we have to do is hear the words which the Supreme Lord, because Bhagavad Gita means the song of God. The Supreme Lord Krishna spoke this book. And if we hear this book, we're actually hearing directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And we're in that association. And by that association, it's described in that Arjuna says to Krishna, you are the Supreme Pure. And so if we associate with the Supreme Pure, we become purified. The inferior element, I've explained it many times, placed in the atmosphere of the superior element takes on the qualities of that superior element. You take iron, you put it in fire, it takes on the qualities of fire, because fire is a superior element to earth. And if we place ourselves in the environment of the holy name, surround ourselves, engulf ourselves in the glorification of the holy name of the Lord. Even in the Judeo-Christian church, they say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The name of God is not a mundane vibration. It's a sacred vibration. It's a spiritual vibration that cleanses the heart. Chitta darpana marjanam bhava mahagina varpanam. It cleanses the heart of all the latent sinful seeds that are ready to explode within our heart and cause us to create sinful activities due to the ignorance of our existence and cause us to perpetually remain here. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform the sacrifices according to the Vedas, if we don't want to do those actions which create, what would you say, spiritual reactions, how are we going to become happy? How can we expect to be happy if we're not willing to perform the sacrifices to the Supreme Lord? Happy in this life, and what to speak of the next one, even in this body. On Friday, I quoted this verse, one of my favorite verses. Just because it's my favorite verse, I'll do it again. If I can get to the page. I remember the number, excuse me. Oh, okay. One who is not connected with the Supreme. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. In other words, being conscious of the Supreme Lord. We have to be conscious of the Supreme Lord in order to be connected to Him. can have neither transcendental intelligence. In other words, it's ignorance which causes our material existence, so we need transcendental intelligence. And with that transcendental intelligence, we can control the mind. Our intelligence is meant to control our mind. Our intelligence is meant to guide us. And so without having a connection to the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, or God consciousness, the intelligence cannot be strong. Therefore, the mind cannot be controlled. And without a steady mind, one cannot be peaceful. Anybody ever notice not being peaceful with their mind? Anybody here ever experience a disturbing mind? Somebody say Hare Krishna. It's such a rascal, isn't it? You go to the yoga clubs and they say the monkey mind, the grasshopper mind, you know? The mind is going here and there. And if our mind is not steady, we cannot be peaceful. And if we're not peaceful, what's the chance of becoming happy? And I've said this so many times. Our real goal is just to be happy. All we're really looking for is to be happy. But we're looking for it in an environment where we can't purchase it. You can't purchase it in this material world. Oh, I'm on 431. Excuse me. I dropped the page. I'm using the purport for notes. I got 3 minutes to finish 3 sentences. It took 45 minutes to do 2. Does anybody get something here? Is there some learning going on tonight? Huh? Are we getting something? Huh? We just go through it word by word, step by step. There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets, and in all cases there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yajna, sacrifice. But the highest kind of happiness that one can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets. Not anywhere in this material world, to the spiritual planets by practice of Krishna consciousness. God conscious. You have to practice being God conscious. Just like if you want to become very good at playing the piano, you just look at the piano, pretend like it doesn't exist, and then all of a sudden one day you're going to sit down and do some Bach or Beethoven or whoever. It doesn't work that way. It takes practice. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solutions to all material problems of existence. That just goes against that scientist friend of mine's, my friend's scientific father. The life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all problems of material existence. A simple thing. I read something recently that says you take something complicated and make it simple. That's a sign of intelligence. You take a look at our life, take a look at our minds, take a look at everything going this way, that way, this way, that way. Everything is just insane right now. And if you can just condense it down into something simple, chant Hare Krishna. Somebody say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I like that one, isn't it? Just condense it down. Condense it down. Get it down to the essence. What are we in essence? Our essential, the essence of our existence is Maya Vangso Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We're all eternal parts and parcels of God. And now we're in an environment which is not conducive to our eternal existence. We're in a place that you can't last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I mean, nowadays, if you live to be 100, you get to go on TV. I'm waiting for that day. I'm going to tell everybody on TV, chant Hare Krishna, and you'll live to be 100. This is a solution. Prabhupada says right here, this is the solution to all the problems. The problem is that we have material problems. There's so many problems in the material world, but they're not material problems. It's a spiritual problem. And what we're doing is trying to make material adjustments to solve these problems, but the problem isn't material. The problem is a lack of spiritual consciousness. And when we come to the point of understanding ourselves as eternal parts of Krishna, then we can solve the problem. That's the real problem. Our Srila Prabhupada's teacher said, the only thing that's lacking is God consciousness in this world. There's abundance of everything. The only thing that's lacking is God consciousness. So am I supposed to end at 10 to 7 for the announcements? Yeah. I'm sorry to put you, I felt really bad on Friday because I asked Sham, it was time to end the class, and I said, can I ask questions? Then I put him in the spot. I apologize, Sham, I shouldn't have done that. So anyway, I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions, but I think we're done. So thank you very much for listening. Should I quiz the crowd? Should we have a test? Okay. Our material existence in this world is due to multiple sinful reactions. Ignorance is the cause of our sinful life. Sinful life drags us along in material nature, right? And human life is the only loophole. Yeah, everybody wants the loophole. You need a good lawyer, huh? The Vedas give us a chance to escape, right? And it gives us a means. In other words, getting knowledge, spiritual knowledge, gives us a chance to escape the material energy. And we have a simple process. It's a gradual, simple process of dovetailing all of our activities in the service of the Lord. So thank you very much. I pray you all have a wonderful week coming up. This next week is you have the blessings of the Lord. We can only understand that no matter what happens is a blessing of the Lord. And it's all meant to teach us something, and I hope we all are able to learn the lessons that the Lord is sending us this week. And we hope to see you again, hopefully Friday as a program, and next Sunday is also a program. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Can we give one more round of applause for Maharaj for his class today and visiting us? I'm sure many people already know His Holiness Rtadhvaja Swami very well because that's the type of person he is, to get to know everyone on a personal level. But for those who don't, he's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he's been traveling in the U.S. and China and other places for how many years, March? 45 years, teaching Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Teaching Krishna consciousness and being an inspiration for many people all over the world, and especially us in this Houston temple. We're grateful to him for continually visiting us and giving us inspiration. He's also an inspiration to so many youth in Krishna consciousness all over the world, and he's ran a summer boys trip for young men for many years and inspired them and traveled with them, and really is the glue that holds a lot of the youth in Iskcon together. So from the bottom of our heart, Maharaj, thank you so much for everything you do, and we continue to pray that you inspire us and pray for your health to continue to do everything, all the activities that you do. Just a few announcements before we get to the kirtan. We have the Sunday Feast sponsor for today is Mamta and Uma Dam, and they're sponsoring in the memory of her father Ved Prakash Dam and brother Rajiv Dam on the occasion of the anniversaries of their passing. So the kirtan today will be dedicated to them. Do we have any people coming to the temple for the first time today? Maybe you can raise your hands and see one there, a few over here. Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming today. We appreciate that you're here today and welcome you. Actually, thank everyone for coming today. I know Super Bowl Sunday, like Maharaj mentioned, and so that's a little bit of a sacrifice to come today, but here at the temple, every Sunday is super for us, so it's something we can all take part in, so thank you so much. The newcomer ambassadors today are Ranu Devi and Vivek Prabhu. Are they here? She's standing in the back right there. So for all the people who have come for the first time, she'll be outside at the welcome table. You can see her if you have any questions and for a small gift as well. We have a few events coming up, actually many events coming up in the next few months. This Wednesday will be Baimi Ekadashi, where we're fasting from grains and beans. And the next day is actually the appearance day of Lord Varaha, Rtadhvaja, so fasting till noon as well. And the break fast will be the next day, Thursday, February 6th, from 7:08 to 8:55 a.m. Who knows about Goswami Academy here, our school? So for those who don't know, Goswami Academy is our primary school just down the street from the temple. And they're going to be having an open house and Love Your Community Festival on February 8th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So it's going to be a very family-friendly, fun event. Lots of fun activities for the kids and the adults as well. There'll be OM Acupuncture there, Ella Dentistry, Marco's Pizza, the Houston Recycling mascot will be there. Bhakti Urban Farm, Govinda's, and Karuna's Ayurvedic Cooking and Healing will all have booths. So it's going to be a really fun, family-friendly event to bring the kids and the whole family to. That's February 8th from 11 to 2:30. Yes, Saturday. And you can contact Mother Shubhra, I don't know if she's here, for more details on that event. February 7th, we're celebrating Nityananda Trayodashi, which is the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, who is an incarnation of Balaram, the brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On that day, we'll be celebrating February 7th, Friday. The program starts here at the temple at 7 p.m. And the festival organizing committee is requesting that any initiated devotees bring a boga to offer to the Lord that day. And it should arrive with the boga here by 7:30 p.m. The following Thursday after that, February 13th, is the appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the guru of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who you see back there. So we'll be celebrating his birthday and appearance day at 7 p.m. on February 13th. The following Monday, February 24th, is the disappearance day of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Srila Gurudev. We'll be celebrating that program in the evening at 7 p.m. On Monday, March 9th, we'll be celebrating one of the major festivals we have throughout the year, which is Gaura Purnima. It's the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that program will start at 6:30 p.m. and will continue to the evening. It's a wonderful festival, one of our biggest festivals of the years, and one of our most auspicious and important festivals of the year because we're celebrating the birth of Krishna in the form of his devotee, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we'll also have a secondary program for that on March 22nd, a cultural program as well on the weekend. We have our annual Japa retreat coming up, which is going to be this year from March 13th to 15th. And it's with His Holiness Ramapad Swami Maharaj. You can register in person when you go for dinner at the Gauranga Hall, or you can also register online at japahouston.org. This is the last week for early bird registration, and the rates will go up by $15 tomorrow. So to get that early bird price, you can lock it in today when you go take prasadam. Another festival we have coming up on April 2nd is Ram Navami, the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra, another incarnation of Krishna. And Iskcon of Houston is taking part in conducting a citywide Ramayan quiz contest for kids. More details will come soon about that. But if anyone is interested in more about that to sponsor and volunteer, you can contact Shashimukhi Mataji. I don't know if I think I saw her somewhere maybe. Okay, yeah, she's in the back there. Yeah, there she is in the green. Also, if anyone was here a couple of weeks ago, they might have saw the Sunday School Orchestra program that happened during the Bhaktivedanta Medical Conference. So Mother Paladuli, our Sunday School principal, and on behalf of the Sunday School and all the parents of Sunday School, would like to express gratitude to Jwalanti Mataji for coordinating and putting the orchestra performance together with the Sunday School children. And request Sonia to please give her this homage. Yes, Mataji, please, we request you to come up and receive just a token of appreciation from Marge.
So she took the leadership opportunity to lead the orchestra, to organize 10, 15 teenagers on her own, and create
So again, thank you and appreciate the service that you've done. Today's kirtan will also be in the memory of Rtadhvaja, the father of Kantivala Prabhu, who passed away on Friday. And we'll also be dedicating the kirtan for the speedy recovery of Mother Vishaka's brother, Vijay Bhai. The kirtan will be led today by Nilamadhava Prabhu, and we request that the sponsors please come up to perform the arti. Hare Krishna.
What is it? Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Nama Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama,